Hang on a second, let's see. Yep, here I am. Is there audio? Is there video? I'll know in just a second. And then we will get this row on the showed. And hang on, there's no audio. Ah, yes, there is. It's the Nazarite bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. Oh, wow. So it's Tuesday. It's Monday. Sorry. It's Monday. It's Monday, and I didn't sleep at all last night, or barely slept last night. Hey, little kids, what a trip. But what a blessing. I'm going to continue with the ramblin' chat. Soldier Boy 22 asked, how many children do you have? How old are you? So I'm 43, 4 kids, and it's a trip, just like I just said. Gavin Walmut 7 said, well, you're in the land of Canaan. Just because you came from the seed of Abraham or came to this world through the portal of the nation of Israel doesn't mean you're an actual son of Israel, you know. Okay? You know, technically speaking, biologically speaking, ethnically speaking, that is precisely what that means. What does it mean to be a son or daughter of Israel? What does it mean? Different people might have different definitions. My definition is very clear, which is why I'm not so crazy about, I'm not so uptight about people who convert seemingly on the fly. Because to be a son or daughter of Israel, you need to accept the laws of Israel and the Torah and the God of Israel. And in doing so, right, forsaking your pagan ways, forsaking your pagan gods, right, circumcision, mikveh, whatever the case may be, and you are part of the people of Israel. You are reborn into the tribes. Now, while it's true that you can't, let's say, be a Levite or a priest, which are a specific tribe, the tribe of Levi, right, Levi, Levi, you are still actually part of the tribes. And so I'm curious to know what Gavin Walmut said. If I'm in the land of Canaan and I'm from the seed of Abraham and I came in through this biological portal of my mother, who was Jewish, right, of Judah, into the nation of Israel, doesn't mean you're an actual Israel's son, you know. I don't know precisely what he meant. Maybe he'll be here and he'll be able to clarify, but that is exactly what it means, actually. But okay. Hey, Sparrow does stuff. What stuff do you do, Sparrow? No, it's not a monologue. It's in a ponytail. It's a ponytail. Captain Caveman. Great name. What's your view on the third temple being built and the red heifer? So I'm of the opinion that we don't need any of these things, right? Because essentially speaking, we don't need the temple, we don't necessarily need the heifer, we don't need the kingdom, we don't need the priesthood. These are all things that came as a result of, let's say, the deterioration of the generations, right? And through the course of history and through the path of time, we had to do different things, much like in the beginning we did not eat meat, but after the flood we ate meat. You see what I'm saying? There was sort of, as the generations continued, there was kind of a deterioration into the physical. And so we needed a physical temple. And so we needed animal sacrifices. And so we needed a priesthood. But that's not necessarily what we needed to begin with, now, from the onset. Now, if we're talking about here and now, the red heifer, I think, they're looking for her, right? They're looking for the red heifer. And I mentioned just recently, right, Rabbi Yoshua Friedman, the Nazarite rabbi here in Jerusalem, one of them, who said that it would be Nazarite priests who would purify, ritually clean the rest of Israel. As for the third temple, it will be vegan. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I've thought for a very long time now. But I'm of the opinion that we don't really even need them. Rashid says hi. Vago Smallborn says hello. HN. Hey, I'm also an HN. Says hello as well. Creative Publisher says Free Palestine. I agree. Free Palestine from Hamas. Free Palestine from religious oppression, free Palestine from terrorism and from warmongering, corrupt leadership. Free the people that we may make peace with them. Yes, indeed. Free Palestine, Rashid says. The devil sits in Israel. Yes. Ah! That's me. I am the devil himself. Question, do you think Jesus is God? No, classic narrator. I think Jesus was a human being. This comes up every single live stream, every couple of minutes. I'm okay with that. No, he's just a guy, a righteous guy, but a dead guy. He's no God to me. nor is he the Son of God. We're all sons and daughters of God, made in the image of God. How is this for a stereotype, says Craig. Yes, I'm definitely a stereotype. I've got the schnoz, I've got the specs, I've got the beard. Am Yisrael Chai, says Toaster Poodle. The people of Israel live. Greetings from North Korea, says Ricardo. Ricardo Salazar. Interesting. Vago asks, how are you? I'm doing very well, although I didn't sleep much at all. I've been up since about 3 a.m. And, well, you know, little kids are a trip, and they'll keep you up, and, but it's all for the best, and it's all a great blessing. It's not my first rodeo. It's not my first baby. So, it's all good. Kareem says, Free Palestine. Thank you, good people, for supporting Israel and the IDF in their war against Hamas. How nice it is to be over here and see such nice people saying Free Palestine from Hamas, Free Palestine from religious oppression, Free Palestine from religious extremism, Free Palestine from the radical, corrupt leadership that has oppressed its people. It's so nice that you people agree with me. Yes, more power to Israel, more power to the IDF in their war against Hamas. Thank you, Karim. Thank you, Rashid. All the others. Really great. Really, really great. I wouldn't have thought that you were all such staunch supporters of Israel and the IDF. And yet you are. Who knew? Giancarlo. Hey, how you doing, man? Red heifers have been found already. Possibly red heifers have been found, but they halachically, right, as far as rabbinic law is concerned, they need to have a specific, right, they need to not have more than 2 white or black hairs. It needs to be truly, truly like a dark, dark brown red. So there are different rules on what would constitute a kosher, proper, clean red heifer, right? And it needs to be one that has not been labored with, that didn't take any load on its back. Can't they both lose? Yeah, Israel and Palestine can both lose, right? This land belongs to the Creator, not to any nation, not to any one people. That's why all the more reason for us to make peace here, because peace holds more blessings, peace holds more positivity, peace holds more promise than anything else. So yeah, both of us can definitely lose. Mary says hello. Hi, Mary. I'm Jordanian, says Rashid. Salam alaikum. Over there in Jordan. Kevin Jeremy says, Jesus loves me. That's nice. I love Jesus too. The classic narrator said, can you share your evidence? Evidence for what? Evidence for what? Who told you this was a good look, Brother Shaykh says. Nobody told me it was a good look. It's all good. You don't have to think it's a good look. I'm not looking to date any one of you out there in the chat. I have my woman. She's been with me for many, many years. So I'm not looking to go out with anybody right now. Are you Jesus? No, I'm not Jesus, Eli, although we do come from the same people. Coach Reggie Dunlop 7 asks, would the world be better without Israel and Palestine? No, I think that depends how you look at it. Without Israel and Palestine, there would be less war between Israel and Palestine, seeing that they would not exist. However, there would still be war here because in the Arab world, in the Muslim world, a lot of times there's that intertribal infighting. And so, all right, the in-group, the out-group, if there wasn't Israel to hate, definitely there would still be people fighting over this land, people conquering and liberating and reconquering this land. Or at least that's what I'm thinking, right? I might be wrong. I wish that I would be wrong. I wish that all war and bloodshed would be taken away, even right now at this very moment as I'm saying these words. No more war. We need peace. We need love, right? We need justice. We need justice. So I don't know if the world would be better, but certainly certain facets of the world would be better. The ones who are suffering due to the Israel-Palestine war may be better, or maybe the alternative is even worse. Far be it from me to know. No God exists, says Batty. I agree, no God exists. It all depends on your conceptualization of God. And I don't know God. All I know is how God reveals himself to me. And as such, if you say that no God exists, I'm going to agree and say that's right. No God exists. That is correct. Jesus is Jesus, says Spider-Man NYC. Well, where else, right? Of course he's in NYC. No, I mean, he's not in Manhattan, though. Isn't he from Queens? Well, all right. Do you have chemtrails there? Saint Crit asks. So I've only in the past decade or so, I've been privy somewhat to this chemtrail Monsanto business. I don't know what to think of it. It sounds, look, on the one hand, it sounds kind of out there. On the other hand, there have been conspiracy theories and different things that, MK Ultra, the CIA's MK Ultra, sounds like it's complete like nonsense and a fairy tale, and yet it happened. And these things happen all the time. Industry, espionage, people in different agencies are doing what they want with the little people, and the little people don't know anything about it. So, do we have them here? I'm inclined to say yes. Do I know anything about them? Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, no, I do not. We love Palestine, says J4A. Yes, I do too, and I wish that they would be free of their oppressors, Hamas, free of their terrorist regime, free of their religious oppressors, indeed. Free Palestine from Israel, says Karim. Okay, let's put it this way. It could very well be that if the Palestinian corrupt leadership that wants only war, if it would actually make a move and be a partner to peace, we would both be free. You could go live there, we could go live here. That's not how I would want it. I would want us to be able to go and eat hummus in both locations. That's what I would want. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh bidvaro. But we live in a world of good and evil, and it's part and parcel of this world, right? But just because there's war and bloodshed in the world does not mean that we need to continue it. It does not mean that we need to continue perpetrating this sort of behavior or manifesting this sort of behavior, whatever it is. Okay, let's see. Oh, wait. The chat is moving very quickly. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to just jump to the end because I don't know what's going on. Do you know how easy it is to manifest, says Wasim Chadid. Chadid or Chadid? Okay, manifest what? We manifest all kinds of different things. Manifestation has a spiritual and metaphysical element to it, and it depends on whether or not you're thinking of literally making something of essence, or whether it's a type of the secret thing. What type of manifestation are you talking about here? Definitely, there have been manifestations in my life that I have helped to bring about in my own very, very small way. So yes, I do know how easy it is to manifest. It's something that you need to be contemplating, it's something you need to be walking with, it's something you need to be talking about, and it's something that you need to be aiming for and working towards. That's how you manifest things in this world. It's not like just by having a whim or a wish or a want. There needs to be something concrete that's connecting heaven and earth, right? Aren't Jews God's chosen people? No, the Jews were selected for a certain task. Other nations were selected for other tasks. If the Jews are going to call themselves chosen people, they need to live up to that title. If they are going to virtue signal using that title, woe to them, because that's not the way to go. But if they're going to do that, then more so, they need to live up to that title and truly behave as God's chosen people, because we won't remain God's chosen for long if we break the covenant and go against the Torah. We will be kicked out of the land just like we were before. That's what the Torah says. You arrive at the land. If you don't do, if you don't go by the Torah, the commandments, and the covenant that you were supposed to adhere to, you'll be kicked out. You'll come back, you'll be kicked out. You'll come back, you'll be kicked out, until you learn who you are and what your job is in this world. If we donate, do you promise to brush your hair next time? So, no, sorry, Nemo. Nazarites cannot use a brush, so I can't promise to brush the hair. Second of all, I'm not eligible for monetization yet, so you've got nothing to donate towards. Third, it wouldn't go to me, because once I do, if I do decide to monetize, all of the revenue will be going to charity. So, yeah. Oh, MFG, you ever shower, says Ryan? Why, yes, I do. I shower plenty of times, actually. Not the chosen people. Yes, I agree. I agree, Chris. You could definitely say that the Jews are not the chosen people unless they act like people who are selected for that task. So long as they act like all of the other nations and want to be like all the other nations, now to some degree that's permissible and okay, and in other degrees and in other ways it should not be, because we need to hold on to our traditions and our faith and our way, right, and the ways of our ancestors, the Torah and the commandment and the covenants between God and Israel. If we forsake those or break them, turn away from them, then there will be exile, there will be destruction, there will be pestilence and disease and all of the different blessings and curses that are outlined in the Bible. The thing is that we sometimes don't seem to learn. And maybe there will come a time, hopefully now, right, where we will be able to learn what it is, who we are, what it is we are supposed to be doing here. Just by doing our thing, not better than anybody, not smarter than anybody, not wiser than anybody, not trying to take anybody over, not looking to take over the world, not looking for everyone to become Jews, just the Hebrew people doing their Hebrew thing. Just by virtue of that, already there will be a great sigh of relief in the world. J4 asks, may I ask why you said the Nazarene, not Nazarene. Nazarene comes from Nazareth. Nazarites take on a vow. Can't brush their hair. Is it in the Torah? Yes, it is. Numbers 6. In the beginning of the chapter, the first verses speak of the Nazarite vow. Any man or woman of the Hebrew tribes who wish to become a Nazarite, they take a vow. It's a very easy vow to make. You make it like any other vow that you would. It doesn't require any ceremony or ritual. You simply say it with intent of the heart and the words of your mouth, and you are a Nazarite. During the time of the temple, it used to be from 30 days onward, but now without a temple and without offerings and sacrifices to fulfill and finish and complete the vow, anybody from Israel who takes a vow of a Nazarite does so for life, basically. You do not believe the Torah, you believe the Talmud, says Jared. Really? And how might you know this? Do you have any idea? Have you been to this stream before? Do you have any idea what you're talking about? Probably not. But I will say that I follow the Torah more than I would follow the Talmud in the sense of the flags in the ground that I stick. The principles by which I live are a lot more closely associated with the written Torah than the oral traditions. Also, I'm well aware of the fact, being a yeshiva student in my past and growing up Orthodox in Jerusalem, I know what the Talmud is about, I know what the Mishnah is about, I know what halacha is about. So if you're coming at me with some kind of a gotcha, sorry, guy, not going to happen. But they say that you are the chosen ones. Even Netanyahu says it. Says Ami O-X-H. Yes, people can spout anything they want. They can blah, blah, blah as much as they want. All I'm saying is, if you're gonna say that you're chosen, then do what you were chosen for. If you're going to wear this crown of God's chosen people, act like it. Act like it. Do what you're supposed to do. Stick to the Torah. Stick to the commandments. Stick to the covenant that you undertook at Sinai and before, and other covenants that came afterwards, like at the time of Joshua, like at the time of Mordechai and Esther in Persia. It's like, you can't have it both ways. I mean, obviously it's not black and white. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. So I don't deal in absolutes. But I'm going to say that I don't consider myself chosen for anything. Right? The Hebrew people were selected to continue the covenant of the Hebrew way. But there are many other nations with many other ways and many other paths. And it's not like one is better than the other. We're all going along a different path, a different line, going back, right? Like branches that end up in the same root in the ground. Imagine the tree upside down, right? Where the branches are all down here, and we are seeking as we go up in spirituality and religion and faith, but all ending up in the same place at the same root. Which is why I don't think that the Hebrew faith is better than anyone. I don't think it's, truly, it boggles my mind when people decide, yes, I'm going to call myself God's chosen one, and yet they don't act like it. Because if you're going to call yourself that, if you're not going to act like it, it's just virtue signaling, and it's nearly meaningless. I'll say nearly, because maybe there's a chance that if you say that you're God's chosen people, maybe then you'll want to act that way, even if you're currently not acting that way. And in that sense, maybe there is some merit to it. But definitely, I don't think that we're God's chosen people if we don't act like it, because then it's just empty words. Empty words. Okay. You are right when you said upside down, says 5-ring audits. I'm definitely upside down, man. I'm upside down. Boy, you're turning me inside out, all around. God's chosen stealers, says Bang. Yes, but the problem is that you can't be a thief in your own land. I do agree that there are some fringe settlements that are problematic. Locally, internationally, legally, morally, ethically, halachically, perhaps even, by rabbinic law, I'm not sure. But definitely there are some fringe settlements that I would say, no, that might be borderline thievery. However, other things were taken legally before the establishment of 1948, bought and paid for. Things after 1948 were acquired by war, which we did not start, but we definitely won. So you don't get to start a war and then lose it and then cry victim. That's not how it works. And the third thing is, We have always maintained a Jewish presence in the land of the Jews. Other people lived here, to be sure, but there was always a presence of Israelites in the land of Israel, even though it was a minority. No, nobody's disputing that. It was still a presence here, an unbroken chain from the time we crossed the Jordan and until this very day now, where I sit in Al-Quds in Jerusalem. So, I don't agree that we are stealers, right? Colonizers, settlers. No, we went back to our ancestral homeland where we have maintained a presence, albeit not a very large presence throughout the exile. I agree with that again, but definitely a presence was kept here. Furthermore, during the near 2,000-year exile, we were always looking to Zion and always praying towards Zion and always mentioning Zion 3 or 4 or 5 times a day in our prayers, longing and wanting to return, knowing that this is our home. Now, whether or not, you could talk about the war, you could talk about persecution, you could talk about thievery, you could talk about all of that, but there is no doubt, because this is a matter of historical record, that the Jews came from Judea, and they are the remnants of the kingdom of Judah, hence the term Jew. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Thanks, man. Oh, Lao Tzu! I love your book, man. I'm a fan of the Tao Te Ching. I've read a couple of translations in Hebrew. I've read 1 or 2 translations in English. Could you sign my boob? Would you sign my boob? Okay. Lao Tzu, I truly, truly love your work, man. Really. Okay. MR says, which yeshiva did you go to after high school? I went to the yeshiva in Tzfat, the holy city of Safed, for 3 years. Then I went into the army. Then after the army, I had 1 year outside of Jerusalem in Tkoa. Where'd you grow up? In Jerusalem. You went to Neve or Aish for sure. No, I didn't go to Neve. I went to a Hesder yeshiva. And yeah, so I did my time in yeshiva, then the army, then another part in yeshiva. What about you, MR? Where did you go? Such knowledge, says Deborah. Hey, Deborah, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Sipan says, I'm not familiar with you. Are you a Christian? No, I am not. If not, why don't you believe in him? Because I believe that if I were around at the time of Jesus, maybe I would have followed him around Yerushalayim as well. However, because he died, that's it. We don't follow the dead. We have a living Torah. We follow the living. We can follow in the footsteps and in the teachings of those who died, but we do not crown them. We do not give them, authority to the dead. They are dead, righteous dead, but dead. Which means that for me, Jesus could have been a potential Messiah, a potential king, a potential anointed one, a potential prophet, perhaps a great sage, but he's dead. That's all he is. He's just dead. Do you condemn Zionism? No, I condemn what certain people do in the name of Zionism, to be sure. But Zionism as an idea is simply the people of Judah, Judea, the Jews, the Israelis, the Israelites, the Hebes, the Kikes, the Shylocks, going back to their ancestral home. That's all Zionism is. It has its origins in Torah, and it has its later origins in modern-day Zionism in the second half of the 19th century. So while I do go more for the biblical than the modern-day Zionism, I'm a fan of both, but I'm not a fan of what some people do in the name of Zionism. I find it to be a great stain on Zionism. Again, that goes hand in hand with that chosen people crap that I don't subscribe to. Jesus was God, but his body was flesh. So it's the spirit of God, man bowed, not to the flesh suit. Yes, moving forward, I know that Christians and followers of Jesus tell me this all the time, and I say the very same thing. Everything is great with Jesus up until the point he died. And that's it. That's where his reign ended. That's where his authority is broken. That's it. He's dead. We choose life. The Torah says to choose life. The Torah says not to go and seek the dead. The Torah says not to go and, no, the world of the dead, that's gone. We deal with the living. We choose life. And as such, dead people cannot be messiahs, right? And if you're talking about incarnation or reincarnation, if you're talking about being resurrected, if you're talking, all of that has a basis in the Bible. However, you still cannot be king. All right? So if you're going to say, and if you're going to say that he's king, where is he? Oh, he's supposed to come back, they tell me. Well, if he's supposed to come back, and if he does come back as a Hebrew man in the flesh, not a god, but a king, I will anoint him, right? I will crown him. I will accept his kingship along with the rest of the people of Israel. However, it's not happening. And we don't follow the dead, we follow the living. We have living kings, and we do not have a God in the flesh. This is true in the Torah, it's been true ever since. Even at the assembly in Sinai, right? At Sinai, we heard a voice, a revelation of a voice, but not a revelation of flesh. That is something that the Christian have and the Jew does not have, and that's really, really the differing, that's where we draw the line. Okay. Yes, Jesus raised from the dead, sure. You will take a knee to King Jesus, says Antoinette. Very well may be. If someone comes and is able to rally the people and eradicate our enemies, if it even needs to come to that, hopefully there will be peace. But if we have enemies, to eradicate the enemies, rally the people, build the temple, again, only if it's necessary to build the temple, we can bypass that as well if we just get our act together. The body is the temple, right? Think of Eden. There was no king, there was no temple, there was no priesthood. Very simple, plain and simple, straightforward. However, if in the course of history we had to do all these things, a kingship and a priesthood and a temple and sacrifices and worship and rituals and all of that, let's say it needs to come to pass once again as a means to an end, yes, I would bow down to the King of Israel. He is my king. However, right now, at this very moment, there are a few different people in creation who are contenders for that throne, who might merit wearing that crown. Do we merit it? That's the question, because there is no king without a people. There is no leader without a kingdom. Meaning that we need to merit it, we need to earn it, we need to be able to have that capacity to accept the king and his rule over us. And remember what Samuel said to the people of Israel, you don't need a king. Adonai is your king, right? God is your king. That's what I'm going with. However, I don't deny there were human being kings and queens of Israel who stood and who, so I'm definitely willing to go with that. And should his name be Yeshua or Jesus, that actually comes from Yesus, which is Zeus, but okay, that's at least what I'm told. But I would buy, pardon me, cough there. So yes, king is royalty, bowing down to royalty. In Hebrew, right, in the Hebrew faith, in the halacha, the rabbinic Orthodox halacha, there is even a blessing that you say if you see a leader, a high leader, or a king of the nations. You say, right, Baruch shechalak mikvodo lebasar vadam. If it's the king of Israel, you say, Baruch shechalak mikvodo leyireav. So if you're talking about, Jesus being the Messiah, okay, let him be revealed, let him rally the people, and he will be anointed. And if he's the king, let him be revealed, rally the people. It's back to Torah, back to the covenant, and he will be crowned as king. But to say that he lived 2,000 years ago, he died, 3 days later came back, and now we are sort of waiting for a second coming, that in itself goes against the Torah as I see it. I might be wrong. I grew up Orthodox in Jerusalem, which means that I have been indoctrinated. I took a step back from organized religion somewhat, but I definitely don't deny that I have been indoctrinated by the Orthodox faith, and as such, my views might be warped, right? And I'm stiff-necked about certain things, and I'm ignorant about certain things, and my heart is heavy with certain things. But I try to be open-minded, which is why I don't have a problem with Jesus. I'm just saying he's not my guy, not now. Maybe if I was around at the time, I would have followed him myself. I would have been happy to call him master. I would. I read the New Testament once in my life, and the gospel, more than anything else, really, really spoke to me. So, people who follow the channel know this already. I say this every time. Do you follow the news about Iran? I know that there are demonstrations going on. I know there's rumors about the leaders, or maybe it's only Khamenei running into hiding, but I don't know what's going on. I guess I will only know when the smoke clears. Because when it comes to news, whether it's Iran, Israel, Iraq, or any other place in creation, by the time it reaches my ears and my eyes, it's already propaganda. It's already with some agenda baked right in, having gone through a censorship committee and an editorial board, and people want to tell me how to think, people want to tell me what to say, people want to tell me how to act based on the news, so I don't really, I take the news with a grain of hummus. But I hope, Am Yisrael Chai, says Israeli Medusa. Shalom, shalom, Israeli Medusa. Ma kore? Yes, Am Yisrael Chai indeed. The people of Israel live. But you know what? It's not even about the people of Israel. We are just one nation out of many. I'm all about humanity. I'm about Eden. And in Eden, there was no Israel and nations. In Israel, there was no no other tongues, no other cultures, no other faiths, no other religions, none of this division, none of this infighting, right? One human family. Now, I know it might seem truly far-fetched, but I believe we will make our way back there eventually, somehow we will find the way to make peace, take down the borders, right? God will pour his spirit upon all flesh, and we will all be one. And it seems really, really unfathomable that such a thing might happen. But I think of Eden. I think of where we started. I think of where we will enter into humanity phase 2. It starts and ends in Eden. And then who knows what. מאיפה אתה בארץ? I'm in ירושלים. أنا من القدس. אבל אנחנו העם הנבחר. He says we are the chosen people. Brother, he says, yes, we are the chosen people. So are all of the other nations. We are each chosen for a specific task. The Hebrew people are tasked with carrying on the covenant of the Hebrews, and the Hebrew Torah, and the Hebrew commandments, right? That's what it is. Other people have their deities, other people have their path, other people have their gods. And it doesn't mean that we are better. It means that we were, right, selected for a certain path, but not chosen above. You see, people take this chosen people thing, and they wear it as a crown, and it really gets to me. It really, really does. Because a lot of times we don't act like that, and so we are simply using that phrase and not backing it up with action, which makes it seem meaningless and makes it seem futile and goes against the very thing that we are meant to represent. Because if you're going to say that the people of Israel are God's chosen people, what were we chosen for? We must have been chosen for something. Out of all creation, this tiny 0.2% of the population was chosen for something. It must be major. What is it? Hang on, I'll do the Jew thing. What is it? What could it possibly be that we were chosen for? Well, we have the Torah. We have the commandments. And time again throughout history, we fail. We succeed as well at times, but a lot of times we fail to live up to what we are supposed to be doing. And so it's my contention that until you can actually back it up with action, don't claim chosen to do anything. Be yourself. Do your own thing as an individual, as a nation. The people of Israel have a job to do. And if they start doing their job in earnest, then maybe we'll be able to claim. What did Moses tell the people of Israel? He says, right, the people will see, just by virtue of you doing your own thing, that they will say, oh, these people are wise, and they're doing a few good things, right? רק גוי נבון וחכם העם הזה, או רק עם נבון וחכם הגוי הזה. Meaning, you do your own thing, people of Israel, and by virtue of that, without any outside intervention and without proselytizing, without anything of the sort, you just do your own thing. And throwing a stone into a pond, and there's a ripple effect, there's a butterfly effect. These things affect, right? We affect each other. We're not living in a vacuum here. Okay. You will be destroyed, says Joe Schmo. Love the name, Joe. Yes, I think eventually we will all be destroyed to some degree because everything that lives dies. And before we are able to partake of the fruit of the tree of life, we will have to be going through some kind of a destruction or a death. However, that's not the end, right? Someone asked me the other day, what's the afterlife? I have a series of videos on my channel on what is the afterlife, what is the world to come. The afterlife is literally when we partake of the fruit of the tree of life, put under guard but never forbidden. So if you're saying destruction is only one option of several. I believe that peace, right, is better than war, and I believe that love is better than hate or indifference. And I believe that if we get our act together as individuals, as a nation, as a globe, we will be able to come together and avoid destruction, right? Human beings, maybe nature, right, and animals as well. We learn, but mainly humans, right? We learn basically in two ways, either through love or through suffering. And love and suffering, I mean, they're not antithesis, they're not antithetical to each other. I'm just saying you learn through hardship or you learn through experience that you go through that's positive, the positive and the negative, right? That duality exists. We live in a world of duality, of good and evil. And there's always a chance that we will be able to take the positive path and find a way of love and be able to gather through experience and not have to go through the hardship. But if history is a teacher at all, yes, we need to go through a lot of hardship, a lot of suffering, whether it's us Hebrews or other nations, before we learn truly what it is that we're supposed to be doing. It's just part and parcel, right? It's part of the way of the world. Let's go down. Why is the chat so toxic? Well, Max Steele, the chat is a Jewish Hebrew man talking from Jerusalem, it's going to invite all of the hate, all of the trolls, all of the all of the proselytizing Christians and Muslims on the internet, basically. So that's why it's toxic. Not to say that Islam and Christianity are toxic by definition, not at all. But the people who do come here and want to say that I'm fake, and want to say that I'm ugly, and want to say that I'm a thief, and want to say that I will be destroyed, and want to say that they want to kill me, all of that stuff, I eat it up. Oh, it gives me strength. It gives me nourishment. It really, really enlivens me, because it means, for some stupid reason, they took time out of their day, they took time out of their life to stay and not swipe up, go, ugh, what is that, and swipe up. No, they saw this on their screen. They stayed. Not only did they stay, but they actually participated in the chat, which signals to the algorithm, hey, this guy is gaining some traction. Hey, there's a lot of engagement, positive, negative, it's all good. Whatever keeps the people watching, we'll just go, blah, 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 blah. And then they send more people my way. That's how the algorithm works. So I thank them. I truly do thank them. Furthermore, I want to get all the hate and all the vile and all the bile, right? All of their vitriol, maybe, because I'm able to take it, right? These people are keyboard warriors. It means absolutely nothing to me. If they want to engage in discourse and discussion, of some kind, definitely I'm on board with that. If they just want to blah, 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 let them do it, because it means that it's coming out. And maybe they will be empty. They will empty themselves of their hate. They will empty themselves of their negative vibration, and they will create this empty vessel into which something positive might find its way, right? So I'm all for that as well. Definitely. Okay, let's continue. I'm a Palestinian. Shall I be a slave? No, Tony Soprano. First of all, I thought that you were an Italian from New Jersey. Second of all, no, I have no problem with Palestinian people who live here. I want to make peace with my cousins, the Ishmaelites. I want to make peace with the people across these shaky, war-torn borders and pieces of land. As for being a slave, I do not seek to enslave you. I seek to be free alongside you. That's all that I want. I want to go to Gaza and have a plate of hummus with you, with some hot falafel balls and a pita, right, with some nice cold water. That's what I want, Tony Soprano. And, you can have some gabagool or whatever. Are you a Galicianer? So Galicia was in Poland, right? Galicia in Poland. HU52PK610. No, I am not from Galicia, although, look, here's the deal. My ancestors came from here, from Judea. They were kicked out, and then they settled in Europe. And then they came back to Judea. So you can make the argument that, your ancestors came from Europe. It's like, yes, and their ancestors came from right here. And then there's always the question of the narrative, because people who seek only one narrative forget completely about the other. It's a question of what time frame you start to count from. What are the circumstances that you're taking into account when you're saying, oh, these people are this and those people are that? And it's all a bunch of crap. So, I am and am not from Galicia, right? Poland. So I have ancestry in Poland, I have ancestry in Judea, right? My last name might be an Ashkenazi last name, but a last name is not a proper Hebrew thing. That only came a few hundred years ago. My actual name speaks of a tribal affiliation, part of the tribes of Israel. This is the land of Israel. This is the land that Israel conquered, right? Joshua and the Israeli army conquered this land. It took them 13 or 14 years. They didn't even get to do all of it. So yeah. So we are all from Africa, so fuck it, says Mushro. Right, so there is that idea of humanity originating in Africa. There is that idea of Eden being right in that area, because in the story of creation it mentions Cush, which is Ethiopia, which is Africa. Cush is Africa. And Cush is mentioned by name in the story of creation in the Hebrew Bible, which means that there are those who say that, yes, the cradle of humanity, the Edenic cradle of humanity, because Eden has a spiritual manifestation, a metaphysical one, and a physical one, and every level, every spectrum, in between. So the physical place that was called Eden may as well have been in Africa. So we all are from Africa, so fuck it. I'm saying eventually, Mushrow. Eventually, yeah, I'm gonna say yes, because we will all go back to Eden eventually as one. After all the war, after all the bloodshed, after all the bullshit, we will finally be able to come together once again, right? We will. That's just what I'm saying. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to think that I'm saying things that are correct. We're just talking, right? I'm just spitting my opinion here. Okay. You look like you live in between two different dimensions. Oh, a lot more than two, my man. TRG lifestyle Gunny or Johnny. I live on many different dimensions simultaneously. That's what part of the Torah, right? The Torah is all about connecting the spiritual and the physical, right? The masculine divine presence and the feminine divine presence, bringing together a union to bear fruit, to bring new revelation into creation. And this is something that happens on a continuous basis all the time. The question is, as always, and now what? It's like, yes, we have this Torah, we have these commandments, we have this covenant, we have a path forward, and what are we to do? Is it only a material world? No. Is it only a spiritual world? No. It's a combination of many different factors, many different dimensions, as you call them, right? And that's why we have so many senses, and that's why we have such an unbelievably complicated psyche and brain. So yeah. What do you guys think we should free Pakistan? See, right, Pakistan, India. I don't know much about Pakistan. I know that it was also established around that time, and nobody is ever saying that Pakistan should be returned or that the Pakistanis should be kicked out of their country. It's like, yes, countries come and go in the course of war, in the course of conquest, in the course of empires dividing up territory. Even Jordan, right? Even Jordan, the United Kingdom, right? Britain, called the Hashemites. It didn't even come over here to Transjordan and give it to the locals. It went to the Hashemites and said, hey, would you like a kingdom in Jordan? That's why it's called the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. The Hashemites don't even come from around here. So, yeah, people divide up territory. And then those who are placed in that territory are left to squabble and fight over it. And now, look, hey, I have great respect for the British Empire. Make no mistake. It was the greatest empire, literally, physically, right? It was the largest empire ever, if I'm not mistaken. It did a lot of good things, some things that were bad, but by and large, it did a lot of good things for the world, from what I've gathered. I'm not a learned man or an educated man, but I have read some history. And so, Britain and the British Mandate of Palestine, it could have gone a little differently. They could have done things differently. But yeah, so just like with India and Pakistan, and just like with Jordan and Israel and Palestine, or the British Mandate of Palestine, it's all just, so they left, and here we are fighting oh so many years later. I hope we can make peace. We truly, truly need peace. We need it like oxygen. We don't even know how much we need it. You are sick, says Doa Jones. No, see, I'm having tea on a winter's day. The sun is shining, but it's cold outside, and that helps me to not be sick. Also, I try to keep fit. I try to eat right. I'm vegan. That does not necessarily mean that I'm a healthy vegan. I'm quite a lazy vegan, but it does help keep me healthy. So no, I am not sick. Now, if you're talking about mentally ill, yes, I believe we all are a little mentally ill. I know that I am. And I think it's okay, unless it takes over too much of my personality. I haven't been diagnosed, by the way. This is just self-diagnosis here. But, incidentally, I went back to therapy a month ago, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's nice to be back in therapy. I haven't been in about a decade. So it's really, really great. And this time I'm doing it digitally. I'm there to work, just like with my previous therapist 13, 14 years ago. I'm here to work, and I can already see how it's affecting me for the better. It's good. People, if you think that you need therapy, make it happen. It can help you. Okay, let's continue. Comb your hair, bro. You look a mess. Yeah, definitely. Definitely I look a mess. That's okay. I have no problem with that. Unless, I'm not trying to impress anybody over here. I'm not trying to make myself like the world's most eligible bachelor over here, primarily because I've been married for over 20 years. But as long as my woman can tolerate me, as long as my woman can perhaps even find me attractive, then there's no need for me to impress anybody. There's no need for me to dress up for anybody. There's no need for me to definitely comb my hair or brush it, because a Nazarite cannot do that. The Nazarite can't use a comb or a brush. No tools to manipulate the hair, because tools rip hairs out by definition. It's part of what they're supposed to do, and you're not allowed to rip out hairs if you're a Nazarite. So there. I will not be combing my hair anytime soon, but I thank you for the advice. I do. I appreciate it that you want me to look good for you people. If you want, you can look. A few live streams ago, I put on a button-down shirt, I put on a tie, I put on a jacket, put my hair in a bun. I looked sharp. It can happen. It can happen. Look it up. Just a few days ago. What a weirdo, says Uncle Ted. Hey, thanks, Uncle Ted. I am the bearded weirdo, or beardo, if you're into the brevity thing. And yes, why be normal? We need to be a little bit weird. Right? What did Seal say? We're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy. Ah! So let's get a little bit crazy. You know, what, you want to be like everybody else? You want to go through life completely normal, like completely squared? No. Know when to be a square, know when to be a weirdo, and have a little balance there, and know what rules to break, and what rules to bend, and what rules to keep, and what rules to come up with, and what rules to dispense with. But that's just me. Definitely I'm a weirdo, though. I have been a weirdo pretty much since birth. Yeah, pretty much. I like your vibe, ignore the haters, says Kai. Hey, again, the haters give me energy. The haters give me, more views. The haters give me things to contend with. And occasionally, a hater will actually say something that I need to stop and think about. And that keeps me on my toes, right? It causes me to form new neural pathways and connections. And for that, I thank the haters. For that, I thank those who say all of these things that they say for whatever reason. God knows. I don't, but God might know. And I deeply appreciate their engagement and their attention. So much attention that they're actually writing in the chat. So who am I to go against that? Why can't Nazarites be in contact with the dead? So the goobly goo. Hey, goobly goo, I love your username. So the Nazarite ship is all about sanctifying life. The Nazarite ship is about grabbing hold of the tree of life and bringing it into creation to the best of one's ability. And so we abstain from anything from the grape because that represents the left side, the wicked side, the dark side of the force, right? And we abstain from human death, corpses. Other death is allowed, is permissible. I am a Samson Nazarite, which is a little different. I cannot be defiled by death because of my vow, but that's a different story, a little bit. It's my story, but it's a different story. And we grow our hair as a symbol of life that starts from the highest place, from the root within, right? And it's called the crown of consecration or a crown of separation unto the Lord. And the Lord is the living Lord, right? The Lord is the Chai HaChayim, right? We choose life. So the Nazarite man or woman choose life, truly. And in doing so, they abstain from death, they abstain from the grape, they grow out the hair on their head, and they are that embodiment, if you will, of the tree of life. Now that's all of us. That's human beings. Human beings made in the image of God. The image of God is literally that tree of life, the 10 sfirot. But the root of the Nazarite ship is at a higher place, which is why this is called a crown of consecration. Consider the fact that a king has an external crown on his head. A priest has an external oil poured on his head. A high priest has an external tiara, let's say, on his head. But the Nazarite man or woman, their crown grows from inside out. It's not an external crown, it's an internal crown growing from the outside, from the inside out, from the topmost area of the head, all the way down with gravity as low as it can go. And in doing so, it resembles and kind of manifests or reflects the divine revelation from the highest of the high until the lowest of the low. That is the influence of the revelation of God, and that is partly what is personified in the vow of the Nazarite and in the Nazarite's hair. And not having contact with the dead is part of it, not having anything of the grape is a part of it. But I always say that the vow itself is just the beginning. Every Nazarite that I've spoken with has either taken on something else or has put their own spin on it, if you will. Almost every Nazarite I've spoken with. There's Meishariel the Nazarite here on YouTube who says, no, I'm very strict. Very straightforward, just what the Torah says. I'm like, okay, other Nazarites that I've spoken to over the years, each one gave it their own little twist and their own little spin. I did it as well. I didn't know that that's what I was doing and that other Nazarites did the same thing, but I cut out all alcohol, not just wine or grape wine. And I also went from vegetarianism to veganism, all as part of the vow. The vow does not dictate this. I simply took it on as an addition. Yeah, that's the idea with having not contact with the dead, but it's not all dead. right? It's only human death, corpses. And if you take a Samson vow, like I did, then you are allowed to be defiled by human death as well, and it will not affect you. At least not halachically affect you, right? Okay. AP3 says, who says an oath that starts... Oh, wait, the chat just jumped. Sorry. Hang on a second. Oh. Who says an oath that starts with there is no God, LOL, blasphemy, who's that stupid, LOL? Wait, I'm sorry. First of all, it's not an oath, it's a vow. An oath is a question of right or wrong, lie or truth. A vow is something that you either abstain from or take on, or... So that's the difference between an oath and a vow. Shvu'ah v'neder in Hebrew. Who says an oath that starts with there is no God? Blasphemy. I'm not sure what you mean. But I don't know. I don't know if you're referring to something I said or something someone else said. I only speak like that if you were referring to me, because I don't know God. All I know is God's revelation in this world, and in the other worlds, I presume, whenever, I am privy to them. But basically, all I know is how God is revealed to me. I don't know the Creator, because I am a creation, and by definition, I will never ever truly know the Creator, much like you are walking around in the street, right? You have your own consciousness, inside, outside, and you will never truly know the consciousness of another. You can even insert yourself, right, sexually and join bodies together with someone. And still, that remains on a biological level, on a chemical level, and you will not know the other person's consciousness. In the very same way, we can know the garments with which the divine clothes herself. We can know the different revelations through nature, through Torah, through which God is revealed. But to actually know God, to actually make a connection with the Creator that is not with clothing, not through mediators, not through the Sfirot, that is something that, according to the teachings that I follow, cannot be done. And there will always be a line, however faint, however minute, however infinitesimally small and thin, and nigh insignificant, and yet very significant, between Creator and all creation. So when I say there is no God, I mean, no, there's no God the way you might mean God. And I don't know God. So when you say there is no God, I say, okay, there's no God. All I know is revelations of God. I don't know God, which is why I can say that there is no God. There are revelations of God. Now, maybe you'll think that I'm just, kind of, what would be the term? Anyway, bullshitting. But no, I'm not. I truly do believe and think this because of the teachings that I follow. Creator, creation, they do not touch, right? They do not touch. In the very same way that if you embrace somebody, let's say once again in the street, you're wearing clothing, they are wearing clothing, and you embrace them. Are you actually embracing their psyche, their soul, their consciousness? No, you're embracing their physical body, and not even that, because they are clothed. And yet, you would without a doubt say, yes, I'm hugging X, whoever that is, Bob. I'm hugging Bob. Nobody would dispute the fact that if you meet Bob on the street, hey Bob, how you doing? And you give him a hug, you are de facto hugging Bob. Are you actually hugging his essence, his consciousness, his soul, his spirit, his life force? Are you hugging even his naked body next to yours? No, you are clothed. And yet, nobody will dispute the fact that you are hugging Bob by virtue of hugging his garments in which he is clothed. So what is actually touching are two garments, right? Your clothes, his clothes, but nobody would dispute the fact that you are embracing. Maybe I'm getting to you, maybe I'm not. That's simply the way I think. You can call it blasphemy. That's cool. I'm a blasphemer. I am a sinner. I am fallen. Make no mistake. I'm not a sage. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not a scholar. I'm not an educated man. I'm not a learned man. I know what I have in front of me. I know what I've been taught. I know what I've been indoctrinated with. I know a few things that I've sort of thought of on my own, but basically, I'm just here blah, blah, blahing, ranting, raving, drooling. So yeah. It's been almost an hour, so I'll just a quick aside to say thank you, good people. I deeply appreciate your time, your kind and gentle attention, the subs, the likes, the views, and almost 90 likes already. I deeply appreciate each and every one of them. I don't take it for granted that you take time out of your day to listen to my rants and ravings and to have a discussion here with me. I don't take it for granted at all. You taking time out of your day, out of your life, especially with the holiday season, or is it over? and I deeply appreciate it. Those who are engaging, those who are watching now, those who are watching later, I learn from you. I stay sharp alongside you, right? Steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron, sword sharpens sword, so to speak. And I really, really love it. It's not a small thing. Okay, let's continue. Down, down, down we go. I'm sorry, the chat is going so quickly. I need to go down, down, down. Do you ever bring people on for respectful discussion or debate, asks Biblical. So no, I'm not a debater, but I do have if you look at my channel, just a few weeks ago, I had 3 dialogues in the last month. One with a fellow Nazarite, one with somebody who has claimed to find the Messiah, and the third one was with that person whom she thinks is Messiah. He himself did not call himself Messiah at the time. Things maybe have changed over the recent weeks, but right. So yeah, I have dialogues with people, straight up dialogue. I don't debate. I don't try to one up people. I don't try to prove why I'm right and they're wrong. I try to have a discussion, right? We try to learn from each other. And discuss matters because we each have a different point of view. We each have a different lens through which we look at the world. We all have a different way of walking through life. And I think that the more you experience and the more that the more wisdom you can gather, and wisdom can change your life. Because you don't have to go through all of the different experiences, but you can learn from other people's experiences, and that can teach you something. And maybe when you listen, should you listen, maybe you'll learn something to do. More often, you'll learn what not to do. Okay. I would love to share thoughts with you in public, says Paradox. Hey, life is full of paradoxes. Ain't that the truth? Sure, hey, Hebrew Nazarite, across the board, the different platforms, look for my white tree. Or is it a black tree with a white background, right? Hebrew Nazarite, I'm on X. I don't post, but I'm there for the DMs. I'm on X, and I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. Is there one more? Well, here. So yeah, leave a comment, hit me up in the DMs. I always love engaging with people. When I can, I've got a job, I've got a family. But when I can, I do love talking to people. It's a lot of fun. It's part of what, like I said, it's part of what keeps me enlivened and sharp and strong. And it's always nice to learn from other people's faiths and other people's traditions and it doesn't mean I need to believe it all, but it's good to gather wisdom. It truly, truly is. Okay. Keep your eyes on your loose change around this guy, says Jake White. Why? You see something? You see something? Where? Where's the shekel? Where's the shekel? Okay, so. Have you seen P.I.? Oh, Pi, the movie Pi. No, I actually haven't seen Pi. You mean Pi or Life of Pi? It was a book? Am I thinking of something else? Either way, no, I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't. No. So I have not seen Pi. Isn't the Jewish star satanic, says Getum23. No. There are many different philosophies, religions, faiths, doctrines, and ways of life that have adopted the symbol of the star, being by virtue of what it is, right, out there in the firmament, out there in the heavens, untouchable, very awe-inspiring, right, a sight. I don't know if any of you have been, let's say, at the desert with absolutely no lights and no moon. I have, during my time in the army. It is crazy the amount of stars. You can't not feel awe. True and honest awe when you look up at the night sky. I take that as an extreme example, but definitely then. And so the stars have always been something that you shoot for. The stars have been, right, when you wish upon a star. Right, when you wish upon a star, because it's something above you, right? It's something magical. It's something unknowable. It's something so far away that you can't even contemplate. The scale of the universe is mind-bogglingly huge and unfathomable. Nevertheless, it's here. The night sky is here. The stars are here. And so a 5-pointed star, a 6-pointed star, a 7-pointed star, a 10-pointed star. Stars have always been used. Also, when you say satanic, do you mean like LaVeyan Satanism of the modern age? Do you mean a different Middle Age Satanism? Do you mean devil worship, which is not the same as the religion of Satan? Those are different things. I mean, de facto, ritualistically, they're different things. Do you mean paganism? What kind of Satanism do you mean here? So there are other paths, maybe some of them satanic, maybe some of them of devil worship, of the devil worship persuasion, that have used 6-pointed stars. Yes, of course. That doesn't make it satanic. That means that it's a vessel, right? And you can steer it wherever you want. So the six-pointed star that actually has a seventh invisible point in the middle, all right, of the Star of David, it's actually 6 and 7. 6, 7! My kids driving me crazy with that. Not very recently, but yes, still. On that note, I will say goodbye, good people. I will see you, God willing, tomorrow for another live stream from Jerusalem, bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. We're just talking. We're just talking, and I love talking to you people on a daily. It's so much fun. I gather so much from it. So once again, I appreciate your time and your attention, the likes, the subs, the views, the love, the hate, the trolls, the people who want, the people who, people who want to kill me, the people who want to live with me, whatever it is. I thank you. God willing, I will see you tomorrow. Until then, be blessed, be a blessing to others, be the light in someone else's life, maybe a few people's lives. And until tomorrow, God willing, I'll see you. Goodbye from Jerusalem.